Hi, my name is Sydney Brown, and I will be talking about my mentorship process and experience. Choosing my mentor took time and research on how to find the type of mentor I needed. Kevin Voigt wrote that a mentor can give basic job information or sometimes be a shoulder to cry on. I knew personally I had to find someone I was comfortable with or knew. Sometimes it's hard for me to open up to new people or build a new relationship. It also had to be someone I respected and respected what they did. Not that I don't respect everyone and what they do, but I knew I had to find someone that I looked up to, as you should for a mentor. He also mentioned that a mentor can be one to smooth access between senior staff and maybe a lower employee. I found that information to be insightful, but I did not think at this time I would want to choose someone that works in my organization to be a mentor. I've only been with my current company about a year and a half, so I didn't want to push that and kind of open up to anyone in that realm. So after I read Kevin Boyd's article, I moved on to Julia Fawal's article on the different type of mentors you need in your life, and she listed five of them. I found the type of mentor that I needed was an anchor mentor. And the anchor mentor doesn't have to be someone who works in the same field, which worked out in my favor, but will keep my best interest in mind and give insight on things other than just my job or things to help better my life that revolve around my job. I thought this was best fitting since the help I needed was most on my work-life balance, which like I said is doesn't involve work necessarily all the time, but I feel like work-life balance is what keeps people happy. And then I also needed interview help. So somebody who could do both of those for me. I struggle spending my time outside of work working. I answer emails all the time. My notifications are constantly going off. So separating that for me would be a big deal in making sure I was happy in my current situation. Moving on to Smith's book, Careers in Media and Communication, it says that a mentorship needs to be a two-way street or mutually beneficial for both people. This person should be someone that I trust, and the relationship should have emerged naturally. So, not one that we're going and just immediately being like, hey, I want you to mentor me. Somebody that organically I've grown that relationship with over time. They said finding a mentor can enrich a professional experience, and I knew I needed to grow my network more, but the person I chose was already in my network, but I knew I had work to do. I felt as if I had valid information choosing a mentor, but I went back and watched Ellen Insher's TED Talk on how to get a mentor. She mentioned that reaching out to people for just 20 minutes a week can help create a warm connection. I knew that it had to, for me, for this to work, it had to be somebody I already knew and had a relationship with. I think that's key in finding a mentor. Whether you spend that 20 minutes making a warm connection and growing it organically from there, or just someone you know, I just think that that's really going to help build that bond and that trust. And Sure also mentions that knowing your what you're good at and knowing your growing edges will help build that mentorship. So if you know what you're good at, you know what you can take into that mentor relationship, and knowing what you need, if you find somebody that they're good at what you need, you're going to benefit off of one another. Um, and then the first step, Ellen Insher has 3 steps to finding a mentor, and her first step is knowing thyself. I know what I need. I knew I needed work life balance and interviewing skills. I also reflected on what I was good at, and ever since I started taking speech classes and talking classes, I learned that I am slowly growing and getting better at talking in front of people in large groups. So I knew I could take that into my mentor relationship. And Insher's next step is to reflect on who you wanted to reach out to. I had one person in mind. She's an international team lead for a high up company. She deals with interviewing people and building those relationships. She's also very good at work life balance because her employees need her all the time. She has people in different countries, so it's hard for her. Her phone's constantly going off at different hours of the day because Europe will start before us. She has to be on those calls. So I figured she had some good advice on a work life balance. And then her last step, Insure's last step, is to connect with Courage. I had a mutual connection with my mentor I had chosen. So I knew I could connect with Courage and be comfortable reaching out to her and asking her to mentor me through these couple steps I have, and I'm sure things would show up along the way. I did have a wide range of questions, so I chose Wendy Heathcote from Roche Diagnostics. She leads the benefit team, and like I said, she has international, she has people in Canada and Puerto Rico and a couple other places too, I believe in Switzerland. So my main focus, I had 3 questions I focused on. My first one was, should I go back to get a master's degree? My second one was, how does one have an even work life balance? And my third question I asked her was, will my current job offer the resources I need to succeed? So Wendy said that having a master's degree can help in moving forward in a career, but in an interview and on an application, she's really looking for experience and people who have worked hard to get where they are because that's what she's done. But that's just from her perspective. And she said, getting a master's degree, like I said, can further you, but that's depending on how happy you are now and how many experiences you can get in between now and your next job. She said if one is currently unhappy in their position, after receiving their bachelor's, a master's can be a good way to get focus and focus on a different field of study and change your career path before you get too far into it. She also said some companies will pay to further education, but that feeds into, does my company have the resources I need to succeed? She said in small business, which I work in a small business, will struggle to find the money to further your education. You won't get your master's degree paid for, but if you worked for a larger corporation, they could fund that money to you because they make enough money back to support their employees that way. And then my last question was about a work life balance. She said you're going to have your busy seasons and your slow season. In her busy season, she's working over 12 hours a day. Like I said, she has people in Europe and different time zones. So she's constantly working until her last employee is done for the day. So she'll have people in California that are on a totally different time schedule than her. So she said in her busy season, she works 12 hours in a day. But in her slow season in spring and summer, she takes the time that she needs. She said to not be afraid to utilize that paid time off, and you've earned that paid time off. So take that as you need it. She also said that setting maybe 2 days, 3 days a week where you allow yourself to work over or work more outside of work can help you focus on your time at home the other days of the week. So turning off email notifications, things like that on your allotted home days, I guess you could call it, would help benefit removing yourself from work when your workday is done. Wendy and I covered those questions pretty briefly in about a 30-minute phone call, and we plan to meet 2 weeks from now. And that next meeting, we are going to cover interview questions. And then overall, I believe this will be a great experience for me. Wendy is a great mentor. She has experience in dealing with so many different subjects and people. And I believe she gave me good work life balance advice that I can take on to my career right now. I look forward to my interview talk with her so I can better my skills for life after college.